Welcome to the Culture Impact Network, and we have the On Blast podcast. I'm here, Enjoyment Peking, with my man.
Sose, don't know.
So yeah, we're about to get into it. Follow us, like, subscribe. Yeah, so we're here to talk about everything relating to fashion, music, food, movies, what people are into. It's all about culture. The first topic we're going to touch on today is being on roads is a myth. That's my opinion. What's your take on that?
What do you mean by being on road as a myth?
Like the image portrayed as in people who are on roads, like they get money, they're popular, the usual. But it's a myth because it always ends up in different circumstances. Like,
Yeah, but you have to define being on road though, because there's many terms of being on road. You can be a postman, you're on road, and to break it down, in what sense are you talking about a roadman, a proper roadman, like, again, a gang member? Is that what you're talking about?
yeah, but they're referring, most times when people go with roadman, they're referring typically to supposedly gang members.
So why would you say?
But it's still a myth because it's glamorized as if it's gonna look like it's gonna turn out in a good way, but it usually doesn't. The end is always the same. Like it doesn't matter where you are. It always seems to be you're gonna either be in jail or you're gonna end up. You understand?
Yeah.
Being dead, or you're gonna be. So it still goes with the adage that yes, it is somewhat a myth. Only the few people who get out. There's not too many people who get out of it and are looking good, and some people are too tied into it. Like see that artist, the one that was doing well. What's the guy who Nines? See what I'm saying? Like he had a whole good situation going on, but he was still tied to roads. He didn't look like he wanted to get out of it at no point in time.
Yeah, there's so many elements that can play to it. Obviously, I understand what you're saying, but again, you don't know the background story of why Nines was still entwined with it, and to live the life and build what he's building, it's unlikely you're looking to get a financial backing, doing it the legit way. So you don't know what he had to do. Again, there's always reasons behind someone's actions and why they're in. So as you talk about roadmen, unless you know the actual people think that, okay, yeah, cool, he didn't have to do it, but you don't know the financial reasons why he had to stay entwined with it. It's not glamorized because, again, you know the consequences when you're going into it. It's not glamorized like as it's perceived. You hear like this person's gone to prison, that person's gone to prison, that one's been shot, that one's been stabbed. So you hear the news like it's not being glamorized. It's like it is what it is. Do you see what I'm saying? So,
but why do you think people are so desensitized to it? It's like, oh, you heard the news. If you heard the news that something happened to somebody, why would you still be like, yo, that ain't got shit to do with me. I'm going tomorrow. I'm still out there.
Because again, like it's the circumstances you're in, innit? Like yeah, it's a risk. You're on the roads, innit? Like it's a risk. So even though you heard, let's say, X got stabbed or X got shot, yeah, that doesn't affect. In a sense, it doesn't affect you. In other words, all it does is make you be more aware of what of where you are, what you're doing, and who you're with, and find out as much information to protect yourself to continue doing what you have to do.
How do you class civilians, and what's your class for people who are like who tell it? Because I feel like in today's whole business on roads, personally, or in any business that has to do with illegal activity, I think everyone is basically one stop away from being an informer because people tell on themselves. People who are roadmen, but they're not even on the streets too, because they're when stuff happens to them, they claim civilian privileges. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I would just, in a nutshell, yeah. If you're doing any criminal activity, you're not a civilian. Doing any criminal activity, you're involved in any criminal actions.
Even 419 activity.
Yeah, whatever it is, every criminal, anything that's illegal that goes against the government.
That you do not get, that you don't pay taxes for. Basically.
Yeah, anything, pretty much. Anything you don't pay taxes for, you don't declare, yeah.
You have to abide by those
yeah,
rules.
there's you know you don't snitch in it, like because you're not a civilian. Because a civilian is someone abides by the rules, pays taxes, does everything the government requires of them, everything like that. So if they snitch you, you don't raise an eyebrow because you're like, yeah, obviously, like, do you see what I'm saying? But then if you're declaring that you're a role brother and you're like doing criminal activities and then you get caught and then you're snitching, like, and then say you're a civilian, it don't make sense. Like you can't pick and choose when you want to be a civilian. You're a criminal when you ain't get caught, but a civilian when you got caught. Like there's no hope it's out there, best of both worlds. No, don't want that. You know what I'm saying?
Do you think it's harder to be into illegal activities as opposed to previously? You know, because then there was no much.
Yeah, the reason I'll say it's harder, yeah, obviously because of the creation of social media, innit? Criminal activity is very hard, and again with Instagram and lives and every social media you can do a live and whatever. It's again you somehow somewhere end up incriminating yourself or self-snitching on yourself, and then again there's a bag of joint enterprises with you because whoever jumps in that live or whatever is basically a co-conspirator. Depending on the live and the subject you're talking about, and if it's about Passa, if it's about whatever, like, oh, come link me, come do this, like, bro, do you know who I am? Do you know, come link me this postcode, bro, come on, that, bro, you're all incriminating yourself, son. But I would say, obviously, it benefits the police, to be fair. Do you know what I mean? It makes their jobs 10 times easier.
A guy who was doing stealing sneakers and some other things, they matched the sneakers he would put on his post with what was stolen.
Yeah.
And they had him.
Nowadays, police and whoever don't really need to really investigate you. They just go, they don't need to interview you, they don't need to really do nothing really because everything is on your social media. Last messages, last conversations, who you had conversations with, everything is in the CPS's hands. And you know what I mean, for social media. So.
Do you think that if you're gonna be someone who's doing any sort of like illegal activity, doesn't matter, do you think you have to at least know the law?
Obviously, the Archibald is a mad book to read, I'm not gonna lie. And you're never gonna understand the whole of the Archibald.
Of course.
Like, but again, it depends, as I said, it depends on what criminal activity you're doing.
Yeah.
So whatever criminal activity you're doing, then you research that.
But should you not have it? I think people have got the game backwards these days because I think people before they used to be on roads and stuff.
Yeah.
They always had the money for their lawyer already set up. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They always had certain things put aside. Like, yo, if this happens, you know, it's just like how people be buying the big jewelry or the bling and everything. They have it ready in case they're gonna be in things because the same person could be slanging newspapers. The same person could be slanging. You understand what I mean? Yeah. It could be doing a direct door-to-door sales type thing. You're not gonna have the government after you. You're good at what you do. You understand? In terms of you convincing people, and some of these products don't have a need. People who were doing cable guy before, you understand? Sky subscription. It's like someone trying to slang Netflix subscription now. It's necessary. Everybody needs it. It's not something now that.
Just like every sentence is different, isn't it? Depending on the crime. So if you do murder, you need to again look in the Archibald or get legal advice for what a murder is, what potentially from the minimum to the max. Then if you're doing 419 forward, then you know you have to research what before you get into it or around it. You have to know the maximum from the minimum. Do you see what I'm saying? So it depends on what criminal activity you're in. If you don't know it, then you're just going in there blindsided and then more for you.
I think someone hit us earlier on with a question with regards fashion and how they think a lot of women these days, especially coming up to summer, be blackfishing. What's your thought on that?
What do you mean by blackfishing?
Blackfishing basically is where girls who are of either Asian background or
Yeah.
they're of they tend to take a picture. They try to look like they tanned, so they look like they're mixed race or they look like they're black.
This whole blackfishing thing, I think, is
Because it was controversial. I think there's been some
I can't.
articles in the newspaper about some people had to actually apologize. Like, no, I wasn't actually trying
Yeah,
to.
but this is what I'm trying to say, because this is why I say this whole concept of blackfishing, you have to tread carefully, because I know a mixed race girl who has got black in her, but she looks more white than black. But she'll go there, get a tan and everything, and people say she's blackfishing, but she's got black in her, so it's just that she took more of the mother's genes than the dad's. Like, again, a female could cook good jollof rice. She's blackfishing, right? Like, but you don't know, she could have a African man that's taught her how to cook the drink. So what are you saying? The man is.
I think people who raise a lot of questions about this is about cultural appropriation. You know, everybody feels like nowadays. I don't know why it is. It's like people are stealing one from the other. But
let me ask you this now.
Yeah.
Do you eat fish and chips?
Yeah.
So are you white fishing?
That don't make no sense.
Yeah, it does, because as I said, if a white girl cooks.
Yeah, but that's on appearance. That's her look.
No, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't. That's what I'm trying to say. So you're a black man eating a white man's favorite dish.
Yeah. To be honest, I don't subscribe to that. It's not white fishing. I
I
love new fish and chips.
Why is it not white fishing then? If
I
a
don't know
white girl
why
is cooking jollof
it's true.
rice,
I get what you're.
this is what I'm saying. If you're there going, oh yeah, I want a burger.
I think the term we should say, to be honest, is cultural appreciation. You know, rather the other way around, where they say people are taking.
No, there are people that take it the extra 10 yards.
Yes.
Like, you ain't been to Jamaica, or you probably been there on a cruise or holiday.
I know somebody who
you've been on a cruise on a holiday, got two cane rolls. Do you see what I'm saying? And then
that was also controversial.
Like, do you see what I'm saying? Like, come back, you get me? You probably got finessed by Delroy and Winston and them man there Rodney and them man there on the beach and that, you get me? And then you come back and all of a sudden you're talking patois, like, don't make no sense. That's, do you know what I mean? That's blackfishing. Do you see what I'm saying? Because you culturally don't know the culture.
Yeah.
You spent a week, 7 days, and just because someone took you to a one rave, gave you a Jamaican patty, and came rolled your hair, all of a sudden, again, pow, like, right, you're talking patois when you come back to the UK, but before then you weren't really talking. And again, just because it's just like what I was saying as well, like, you can be in a relationship with a Jamaican guy or whatever, Nigerian, African, whatever, innit? And that doesn't, if that partner has not culturally embedded you into that, not breeded you, because just because you got Jamaican in your bloodline now, because you got kids with a Jamaican or African or like, it doesn't mean that right, you're African now. Do you see what I'm saying? Because your bloodline is still your bloodline. Yeah. Do you see what I'm saying? You got cane rolls. It doesn't mean nothing. Do you see what I'm saying? Your kids, yes, that's when you start again educating your kids
to know about
their culture. The other culture. The mum's obviously English. The dad's a different culture. That's when you start doing the whole black history and where the father comes from or the mother, or whichever way it works, or things like that. But the whole blackfishing thing, I just think there's levels to it.
You gave 2 examples though. M.R. You know him?
Yeah.
And then the Jesse Nelson. M.R. from Portmore, like, he's a white ginger man.
Proper.
He does cooking shows, cooking all the Jamaican dishes and everything. Like, he really is like excessive, but it's his whole brand now. But that is an example of culture. But he does have mixed race children.
Obviously, the reason I wouldn't pass a comment on that, so to speak, is because the simple fact of I don't know the circumstance, and I don't know, again, like you said, he's got mixed race kids. I don't know the background of he's been Jamaica, his wife is, or baby mother's Jamaican, they've been Jamaica like 3-4 times. He's gone there and done the research. He's gone there.
Yeah, but even if I went to Jamaica 3-4 times, I wouldn't come back and put on the accent.
Yeah, but again, you don't know how long he was there for. It's broken English. There's no.
It's like pidgin.
Yeah, it's pidgin. There's no. Do you know what I'm saying? It's not the like how you go in Africa, like you got Igbo, Yoruba, Delta. You got so many different tribes, but Jamaicans haven't got their own per se language.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? It's just broken English, and that's about it. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's just again, it's the term, and I won't say he's. Yeah, obviously it's going to be odd, but again, like you don't know the history of where and why or whatever. I could go again. That's like me going to America for 6 months, come back with an American accent. Do you see what I'm saying? Like you don't know, but I'm English, but I've got American accent because you don't know how long I grew up there. I could have stayed there for 6 months. Again, got the culture, understood the culture, and then indirectly, started to embrace myself in the culture. Do you see me? Where I adapted to the culture and then ended up picking up little things and the way I pronounce stuff or something like that, not on purpose, but.
So is it as long as there's love and respect behind why you're doing it? It's
That's what I'm trying to say. As long as there's actual respect, not just clout chasing.
Yeah.
If I had to ask, what is the most, because you know here in England, we're supposed to, you know what the national meal is, right? What's the national meal here in England? Besides the fish and chips you mentioned earlier.
Sunday roast.
Sunday roast is one, but trust me, which one was the...
I know, but I'm not as patient.
Well, basically, the stats say is the curry vindaloo. That was it's like...
But in India?
Here,
But it's Indian.
It's Indian, exactly, but it's the main British meal that is always like on takeaway, yes.
Cool, but it doesn't mean that it's a British meal.
Yeah, it's not British, but it's what's most ordered here. Now, my question is, because I was saying cultural appreciation. We all appreciate, the English appreciate a good curry.
Yeah.
Basically, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, since we talk about, we're on blast, we're here to talk about things that we can amplify and go. What's been your next meal that you've had? Because you only appreciate cultures through food, music, and stuff. What's the next meal that you've had that has been different? Like,
what do you mean different?
Like besides jollof fries, Ghanaians, because I feel like people are conservative. We like other people's cultures. Like I like Venezuela, but I can't tell you any of their national meals.
Yeah.
Like I can't tell you one thing of the national meal. And I think if you really want to appreciate a new culture, you must have at least had their food. My question is, have you had any other, besides the usual, which meal or which other culture have you appreciated that you've gone out to I want to try their food, I want to try their, you understand? Besides Chinese and the regular ones that
That's what I'm saying, I don't know,
Okay, if we had to I'll name certain countries meals, and everyone has had
What, Turkish? I like Turkish.
So, Turkish. See, Turkish delight. She'll mention Turkish. That's a meal.
Yeah.
So, we have Chinese. You've had Indian. You've had possibly Japanese because she mentioned shoots. You've had Italian. You mentioned French. What meal would you say you've had that has been a French meal?
I'm not gonna lie, Big Mattel had a banging croissant. Banging croissant, you know.
Then if we say Nigerian, we have our meals. If we say Ghanaian, we had, okay. Yeah. Okay, so mention, if I say East Africa now, what would you say from East Africa? Tanzania, Kenya, which one have you, the East, which meal have you had?
I'm not gonna lie, I haven't really eaten from the East.
Okay, then if I say, even if I say Russia.
Big man things, then the girls that that's from the East, I wanna feed the beast.
What about okay, I'm trying to think of other cultures, but this is what I'm saying. I'm saying a lot of people, we like all these different cultures. They say London is the most diversified city, definitely, because you have all cultures, different races. But I feel like if you want to really get to know a culture, you have to at least have had one of their food, at the very least. Harrow Road.
Oh, you even forgot to add, obviously, Caribbean
food. Jamaica, everyone's had a good jerk at some point, or curry goat or something.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so I feel like if you know, I think that would be the assignment before the next podcast because we talk about all things. We're on blast. We talk about all things relating to food, music, culture, and stuff like that. What do you think you're gonna try for before the next one? What do you think you're gonna go for next year that is different? That you want to be like, yo, I tried this culture.
Do you know
it's not so bad.
I'm not gonna lie, I'll probably try East African girl first.
Is it the girl or the food?
No, both. If she.
Or do you want to meet the girl too? Is this
your
plug-in
to
try and get an East African?
If she throws the food in with if she throws the food as an extra, then so what? You get me?
Well, I'm gonna put it like this. So please reach out if you're somebody who makes from any nationality. Reach out, please. We need to get one of the meals, and he needs someone to cook him a good home meal.
But why are you trying to make it sound like I'm some?
He's not advertising. I'm just letting you
He's
know.
hungry.
I'm hungry. That man's starving like
You know, like
I haven't eaten a hot meal in
they're
weeks.
hungry and they're
I go there,
thirsty. My nigga ain't. See,
bro,
let me put it like this.
I'm peckish. That's it. I'm peckish.
Peckish.
I'm not hungry. I'm not thirsty. I'm peckish.
To be honest,
Yeah.
you know what I want to try?
boy.
I'm trying to think. I've never had New Zealand. You know, they look like they have a nice culture.
I reckon really healthy.
Yeah, they
food.
look. We do Japanese. I love Japanese meals, but seriously, anyone from one of these cultures that I think you guys have an awesome background and stuff. I would like to try one of their meals. Like maybe we should do something about going to one of these restaurants and trying out, you know, what they're doing. Korean meals.
Let's
are
say what
very
about
similar.
Vietnamese?
Vietnamese. I've been to
What's it?
Po.
Pho. Yeah. I used to work there.
Pho. Oh really? Oh, they have some good banging meals there.
Banging
But I
Too
think
complicated.
Well,
for
like
me.
what though? That's what I'm saying.
Like noodles
noodle
and
type
like
soupy thing.
soupy type of like very close
With
to Chinese
lemongrass,
food, but
yeah,
I think a
very
lot
good,
more
but it's very
marinated,
different.
a lot more
Okay.
marinated and
Oh, that's
juicy.
interesting.
Yeah.
I ain't tried that. I said, what is it? Vietnamese.
Vietnamese, yeah.
Any Vietnamese ladies?
Holla, hey.
Remember, Sammy Peckish.
So, a bit of controversy. So now there was that whole thing that recently just happened with regards that woman that it's basically woman, basically she's a woman now. Leah Thomas. I'm gonna say it. I just have my opinion. Sometimes it might not come across, and I'm still being educated on the subject. So anybody who takes offense, I'm not trying to be offensive. I'm just trying to speak about what my thoughts are on this.
Good disclaimer.
Yes, you have to have a disclaimer because these days they try to come at you for everything. Do you think trans athletes, and they are athletes, should compete in like, if you've become trans from a guy, do you think you should be competing in the women's sports category? Do you think it's fair? Like
I won't say it's fair because obviously again you still got male tendencies and male hormones and male, like you still linked to the male DNA, so to speak. I wouldn't say they shouldn't compete. I would say that they should have their own category.
That's my opinion.
That's what I would say. They should have their own category, and because it's more of a fair and level playing field.
Yeah.
So there's certain drugs they can take that they take to do the transition, and then the natural female wouldn't have. Do you see what I'm saying? And that would be banned to a natural female, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
So again, I feel that they should still compete, and to be fair, it will be good for them to compete because it shows that athletics is very diverse and open-minded to society and the way society is going.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? They should definitely have their own category in swimming, running, whatever. But brother,
sorry,
that's all that.
I'm sorry. You know these days when you sneeze more than once, twice.
That's what I'm saying.
Yo, what's up with you?
The first time I don't have to isolate you.
I don't feel they shouldn't compete. I feel everyone should compete. Everyone should be out there doing their best because being an athlete is you have to sacrifice a lot to get to wherever you want.
Yeah, but no one's not saying that.
Yes, but what I think is it's unfair for them to be. It's like they had that big thing with that South African athlete, Samea, the girl. You understand what I'm saying? They were like, oh, that she's not really a girl. You understand?
Mm.
But she was born a girl. She just had seen more male. You understand?
Mm.
And it was a big deal for her to compete in 800 meters because she, or 400.
No, I swear she was.
Yes.
What they call it, a hermaphrodite. Where she had
No,
two,
they said I'm not sure about
she
her
had
actual
two
sexuality,
boy and a girl, and
genitalia, or whatever.
yeah.
I'm not sure about that, and
yeah.
please don't quote us on this. We're
Yeah,
just
please,
based.
God, please,
Yes,
I beg, like,
we're only going on the Leah Thomas controversy, which is a big deal, and I just feel it's a bit unfair because we're all being educated, but I really feel they should have their own category because it's like in how they have the other sports for people who are able-bodied and not able-bodied.
yeah, that's what I'm
I
saying.
feel they should have their category simply because the changes. The funny thing about most of these changes is it doesn't happen the other way around. You understand? I've never seen any female athlete that was originally a female. She's now become a guy. You understand? Transitioning with male hormones and now racing in the male. You understand? And now racing in the male category. You don't see that.
Maybe instead of putting them into categories, it should be more down to like they got to be the same weight, same strength. Like a health.
Yeah, but
check.
that's how it is on boxing. Boxing is usually by weight
But
class
maybe
and stuff.
in
But
everything it should be that.
if you change, think about this is what I'm trying to say. The muscle mass and everything that's on a human body as designated by how our gender and our hormones have gone. You've transitioned, okay, but you originally had, do you understand, a certain amount of muscle mass, bone mass, and everything. Now you've transitioned, so now they've tried to sort of like flush out the hormones. And don't quote me on this, I don't know molecular, so anybody who's transitioned and will probably be able to give me more knowledge about this. But my point is, you've transitioned, and you're now going into a different category. You're going now with women who have never, you understand? And by the way we class things, really, they say women are actually weak and muscly. You understand? Conversations that people are having, it never. I'm yet, unless someone can send me a case, I'm yet to meet. I know women by their own rights have tried to compete, like how women try to play with male football. Or women basketball players try to compete with men. They play with men and stuff. That is on their own right. But I've never seen a situation where someone's properly transitioned and now is like, I need to be successful. I need to be in the 100 meters race and stuff like that. Most of the people who are successful are always the other way around. Men who have become women and then they're number one in the women's category. Is that a surprise?
The bottom line is, I just feel that obviously the way the world is going, the way society is, like, again, athletics should, in a sense as well, seize on the opportunity in it to show that they're diverse and they're welcoming, and again create a category where all of the, like, again, because athletics is about everybody being on the same level, on the same playing field, innit?
Exactly,
So,
but that's why they make a big deal about people who have, for example, when Ben Johnson and all these other guys who've been banned for steroid use and stuff, okay, they had that controversy about the ice skater, the Russian one and stuff. I'm just saying, like, sometimes it doesn't feel equal. It doesn't feel fair compared to her and what's that other 100-meter black girl, the one that was banned.
I know, it's on the tip of your tongue.
It's on the tip of my tongue. Can't even roll the
see
name
it,
out.
I can see it.
Yeah, exactly. But you know what I'm saying? Like, basically, she was like, she smoked weed because of her mother's death, and she was already like, nah, you can't come compete at all. They didn't even let her come. You understand?
No way.
But then there's a Russian person who is actually competing, who was in the ice skating category.
But see, now you're moving into another.
No, I'm not trying to touch on that.
Okay.
Let's keep it. I'm not going to move
let's-
to the racial thing.
yeah.
But they don't seem to. It's not addressed. It's not addressed as if it was like look at when Conor wanted to fight Mayweather. You understand? They had to agree on contracts. They had to say, yo, before you can even fight, you can't use your legs. You understand? You're going to be boxing Mayweather. This is what it's going to be. You understand? I don't understand why in athletics they don't have those kind of safeguards.
Mayweather is a boxer.
Yes.
McGregor is a MMA fighter.
Yes.
What they call it. So
which he is.
they're two different sports.
Yeah, but you want to compete with a guy who has money. So
Yeah,
for you to do that, what
that's
were the
like,
rules?
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So again, like it's common sense. You're gonna say, all right, then cool. Like you can't use your feet. You can't. So basically, because again, it's a natural instinct.
So where is the common sense when you are male, previously a guy, you've now become a woman, and you want to run in 100 meters women?
Yeah, but this is what I'm trying to say.
And the prize money is on the line.
Yeah, but this is what I'm trying to say to you. That's why there should be a category just for that, to simplify everything. Because everybody in there will be near enough taking the same medication, not like having the same going through the same transitions. They're all on the same journey. So if you put them in their own category to compete, like how many people are trying to do 100-meter sprint? Do you see what I'm saying? So again, there's so many. You're not changing anything. You're just adding a category. So the same qualifications, the same systems, scrutiny, everything you have to go through as a normal athlete. The policy is still going to be there. If you have a category with the transgenders, it'll be simplified because you know exactly the drugs they are taking, and what stage they are, and then you know how to deal with them. Do you see what I'm saying? And how to basically police it and supervise it, because you know all of them are near enough on the same journey, or this person's just past that, but they're still taking the same drugs. So you know if someone's taking something else out of that remit, you already know, alright, cool. Then you can penalize them. Do you see what I'm
I
saying?
think this is one of those debates that basically we can go on for a long time. I just wanted to touch on it because of the recent, obviously, with the recent thing with the swimming with Leigh Thomas. That's why I brought it up, and I was like, yo, it's something we can talk about and touch on. In saying that, let's go into the other segue. Now we're back on what I like, music, you know. So anybody listening to, anybody you think is that just come out, because you know this is crazy, but I only saw today on my Apple Music that Notorious Life After Death, this album, is 25 years old.
Yeah, because I swear him and Tupac's.
Yeah, I know.
I think it's not.
Yeah, but it just came out. It's like I saw it. Notorious B.I.G. Life After Death album is 25 years old. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Considering, but like in terms of new artists that are coming out now, I think Techno has a new song, Ginger. Or something.
I'm not gonna lie. The person I'm feeling right now, obviously US based anyway, is Chuck Cash.
Oh, okay. Who's that? Is he cool?
But I'm not gonna lie. He's hard. He's hard. Chuck Cash.
Do you know who I listened to recently? This guy's album I think just recently came out, Central C or something.
Yeah, Central C. Yeah.
And I think that one there's one particular track that has been on my mind. Like I said, back on it. You understand? Back on. Yeah. I can't remember how it goes, but I've been feeling that. Like I'm listening. I'll probably listen to more of his stuff. But I think that was hard. His album is hard.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I am a fan of man like Sweet Boy H though. Yeah, he's got the bars for the gal. Yeah, he's got the bars for the gal.
What about RD?
Yeah, RD.
Oh yeah, RD. I heard about that.
He's like the gangster one. You get me? And there's two sides to them. You get me? There's a Sweet Boy H, and he just throw a little curve, and RD just come in with that. Do you know what I mean? I like that. I like that.
Do you think they get as much exposure as they should? Kofi's new album is out as well, by the way. I think that one's she's hard. You know, she
did a meet and greet the other day.
Yes, I like her brand of I like her brand of like reggae type. You know, I like her vibes.
You know what's nice about H and RD as well? They're young rappers and they're not really fuckboys. Like they're very much like in relationships. They kind of promote the love, like them being in love and stuff like that. No, he did, but I'm saying they kind of both of them. They loved it at the beginning, but now they're kind of like in interviews, they're like, I got a wifey. Like,
do you know, you realise fast that the game is savage. Do you see what I'm saying? You realise fast, and like it's there's not a lot of substance. Do Do you see what I'm saying? So
you don't get that often. I'm saying a lot of these rappers are out here like, you know.
This is what I'm trying to say. There's always them all like you find. As I said, you find out in the game very fast, innit? Do you know what I mean? And you identify as well what girls are just ready to drop their things. Just as soon as
there for the money and
as soon as you look
up.
at them, and then you know the ones that are genuine. Do you see what I'm saying? So you just kind of once you get genuine one, you lock it down, and you know. So, and most of them, if I'm being fair, probably knew each other as they was coming.
Trying to come up.
Yeah, not at once they came up. Do you see what I'm saying? Because if you
or
really
in the same line of business,
because
maybe.
if you even look at the story of Stormzy, and Mama Jama, that before any of
before the fame,
before the fame and that.
Oh really?
Yeah, they were already a couple. Do you see what I'm saying? They're already cemented.
I didn't know.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so obviously before it got too big,
before they
got too big to a stage where things started.
I'm of the opinion that now, at least now, I think people promote their, whatever their relationships and everything. I mean, previously, you had to. I think to sell records.
Yeah, they had to
make
that
a
you were single.
lifestyle that they were single. Any new artists, or if you have your music, we can send it to us. We are always in tune with culture. If you're from the African continent, if you're from UK, if you're from the States, we would love to hear your work. We can showcase you on this place. It's a plug, but I gotta say it because I know like when things come out, people are like, yo, you don't hear our music, or why are you not in touch? But the whole point is like we're all about celebrating and amplifying things that come out. You understand, that we consider new. Even just talking about it is like people, we don't know how many people watching, and I'd like to encourage music, especially art and stuff like that. In saying that, we can move on to art and some shit like that, like something related to that.
You say art?
Yeah, art.
Man,
Do you think
I don't
no, but people are investing in art these days.
No Picasso,
You know that these days, to be honest, let me tell you something weird. So I was trying to buy, like, okay, I don't smoke people. For people who know me, I'm not really into weed and shit like that. I can't handle more than 2 puffs. I get mad paranoid and shit. Lightweight. Yes, very lightweight. So I was hanging out and I decided to score a little bit. Turns out that my dealer knew more about crypto and Bitcoin and investing than I do. Dude was giving me Vanguard lines about investing in Forex and investing in stuff. Do you think that's crazy? Don't you think the evolution is crazy that even nowadays everyone has some idea of like really investing? You understand? Like art, like we were just talking about art. Art to me is just crazy because how can you tell the value of something and then just ascribe it? You understand? An artist, you just say, it's like if I was trying to money launder right now, okay? I can't money launder. I'm just saying.
I'm not involved.
Yes. People try to say, oh, I'm buying this. You have to prove your wealth, like how it is. You understand? Oh yeah, I invested in this and this and this. But with art, you can make up the value. You can say.
Yeah, but do you see what we talk about in the like when you talk about like the whole road thing and everything?
Yes.
And about the whole criminal thing and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's called white collar crime. Because you can invest in certain things to write off certain things.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Again, like, why do you think a lot of these? What do you think? Like, a lot of these people on their tax rebates, businesses and everything on their tax rebates.
Yes.
Why do you think they sponsor a lot of charities, a lot of fundraising, because they write it off and get tax rebate? So it's white collar crime. It's just like, again, if you know the law. Yeah, you know what ways, you know how to get around the law.
Finesse.
Yeah, how to finesse the law, innit? You know how to finesse, and there's ways around, as I said, there's ways around everything. It just depends on what you're in, and then you focus on the way to get around what you're in, innit?
Facts. I'd like to thank you guys for watching what me and my mans had to say. We hope to do this every other week. This is on our network, Culture Impact Network, and this is the On Blast podcast. Obviously follow, like, we're going to subscribe. We're going to put the information down there. We're aiming within the month, hopefully, to get more than 1,000 subscribers. That way we can be free. We can stream live on YouTube. and we can get more people into the business. So thank you all for watching us, and until next week. And if you have topics that you want us to talk about, please send in your questions. We would love to discuss them, debate them. We're here to amplify and enjoy all things related to culture, food, music, just anything. Okay, so.
And for me, I just want to say,
yeah.
You get me? Obviously,
man's like
culture impacts. You get me? Enjoyment making, and don't just show them and Sammy Sose. So
yo, that's not a blood thing, right? So just in case people start getting excited, you know, this is here local. Okay? So yeah, till next time, hit us up.
Yeah, take care. Peace out.
Bye.